The mysterious disappearance of the Persian army in the Egyptian desert, one of the greatest and most perplexing tragedies in ancient history. In the harsh lands of the Egyptian desert, where the scorching sun scorches the burning dunes and the dry wind slices through the air like a blade, a great mystery has been etched into the history of humankind. In 525 BC, when the Persian Empire under Cambyses II was at the height of its power, a strange and terrifying event unfolded. An entire powerful army of 50,000 soldiers vanished without a trace in the heart of the desert, as if they had never existed. It was not merely a military loss, but a deep crack in the perfect painting of the past, a mystery that is yet to be fully explained. Cambyses II, son of Cyrus the Great, the founder of the vast Persian Empire stretching from the Indus River basin to the shores of the Mediterranean, did not simply inherit power. He was a man of ambition, eager to expand his territory and affirm his dominance. His first target on his path of conquest was Egypt, a land of ancient glory, wealth, and enduring mystery. With overwhelming military strength, Cambyses II swiftly defeated the pharaohs of Egypt and proclaimed himself pharaoh, seizing control over the fertile lands of the Nile. However, Cambyses understood that conquering a land was not the same as conquering its people. The Egyptians still questioned this foreign ruler, and divine recognition, specifically from the god Ammon, was the crucial factor for him to truly be accepted as pharaoh. Deep within the western desert of Egypt, the Siwa oasis housed the temple of Ammon, where a legendary oracle could pronounce prophetic words that would determine the fate of kings. Cambyses knew that if the oracle supported him, his rule would be solidified. But if the oracle denounced him as an illegitimate foreigner, his power would crumble at its very foundation. Therefore, Cambyses chose not to wait for judgment, but to seize or destroy the temple itself, stripping it of the power to challenge him. To carry out this bold plan, Cambyses assembled a force of 50,000 soldiers, the most elite, battle-hardened warriors who had fought across Asia and Africa. He also carefully selected Egyptian guides, experts in the treacherous terrain of the desert, who knew every path, every oasis, and every wind current of this harsh land. This was no hastily assembled expedition. It was a well-planned military campaign prepared to face every hardship nature could throw at them. But nature is no easy foe. The western desert of Egypt is truly a land of death. By day, the temperatures soared unbearably, causing soldiers' bronze armor to burn hot against their skin, while the blinding sun distorted the horizon. By night, the temperature dropped sharply, chilling them to the bone. The shifting dunes formed an endless, disorienting maze where one wrong turn could doom an entire army. But yet, with grit and confidence, the army pressed forward, their heavy footsteps leaving deep prints in the endless sands. They trusted in their strength, their preparations, and their guides. But then something no one expected happened. No one returned. No messengers, no scouts, no word. That once mighty army, so proud and formidable, vanished without a trace amidst the endless desert, as Cambyses II, waiting back in Egypt, was left in anxious uncertainty. He dispatched search parties westward, but they found only deafening silence. No bodies, no weapons, no remnants of camps. It was as if those 50,000 men, along with their horses, camels, supplies, and weapons, had never existed. The biggest question remains: how could such a complete disappearance happen? Even if destroyed by enemies or buried by nature, a massive army like that should have left something behind. Bones, broken weapons, scattered equipment, but there was nothing. The desert seemed to have swallowed them whole, erasing their presence entirely, leaving not a single clue. Greek historian Herodotus, writing about 75 years later, described that the army was buried by a colossal sandstorm. He painted a vivid image of a towering wall of sand crashing down upon them, suffocating and burying them in an instant. A tragic and mysterious explanation. But even so, modern scholars question whether a single sandstorm, no matter how powerful, could truly erase every trace of tens of thousands of soldiers, animals, and supplies. Beyond the sandstorm theory, others propose different possibilities. Perhaps the Egyptian guides betrayed them, leading them into a hopeless death trap. Or maybe desert tribes ambushed them and wiped them out before concealing the evidence. Or maybe the army simply lost its way in the vast expanse, wandering endlessly until exhaustion and dehydration claimed every life. Yet the most haunting aspect is not just their death, but the absence of evidence. Even a destroyed army leaves behind corpses, weapons, or broken remnants of camps. But here, there was nothing. The desert's eerie silence and blank slate have turned this event into legend. Perhaps the desert was not merely a place, but a living entity capable of swallowing both bodies and stories without leaving a trace. More than 2,500 years have passed, and the mystery remains unsolved. Numerous expeditions, modern technology, and relentless curiosity have all sought answers in the dunes, but all they found was the desert's silent refusal to reveal its secrets. Perhaps some mysteries are deliberately hidden by history, challenging humanity's curiosity and resilience. In the end, the story of Cambyses II's lost army is not just a historical event. It is a lesson in the limits of human ambition before nature's might. A reminder that no matter how great our empires, no matter how carefully we plan, no matter how powerful we think we are still fragile specks in the vastness of the universe. And some secrets may remain buried forever beneath the silent sands of time.
Theories surrounding the mysterious disappearance of Cambyses II's Persian army in the Egyptian desert. For over 2,500 years, countless theories, accounts, and expeditions have tried in vain to piece together the truth. Perhaps some events in history were only ever meant to be half told, the other half buried forever beneath silent sands. The most famous theory originates from Herodotus, the Greek historian often called the father of history. According to his account, as the army of 50,000 soldiers marched deep into the desert, a colossal sandstorm suddenly swept over them like a tidal wave crashing down from the sky. In mere moments, the entire army, men, horses, camels, and weapons, was engulfed and buried, leaving no survivors and no trace. The story is both grand and terrifying, easily capturing the imagination of generations. Yet modern science remains skeptical. Could even the fiercest sandstorm truly erase every sign of such a vast army? By nature's law, time should eventually reveal what has been buried. Armor fragments, broken swords, or at the very least, sun-bleached bones. But centuries of searching have yielded nothing but emptiness. Another colder theory speaks of betrayal. The Persian army was utterly reliant on Egyptian guides, locals who knew every dune, every oasis, and every trick of the desert. What if those guides, driven by resentment toward their foreign conquerors, deliberately led the army into a dead zone? No battles, no weapons drawn, just subtle revenge, allowing the desert itself to claim the invaders. History is not short on stories of betrayal. Even Alexander the Great nearly met his end after being led astray in Iran's deserts by false guides. Thus, it is entirely plausible that Cambyses II, the foreign pharaoh, fell victim to this silent rebellion. But perhaps there was no enemy at all besides the desert itself. Modern geologists have proposed that the army may have stumbled into areas of unstable ground, hidden sinkholes or soft sand plains capable of swallowing anything resting on them. A single misstep and hundreds, even thousands of men and animals could have been lost to the earth in an instant. Or perhaps it was simply the vastness and monotony of the desert that doomed them. With no landmarks and ever-shifting sands, the army could have lost their way, wandering endlessly in circles, until thirst, exhaustion, and despair claimed them one by one. There is also the possibility of a human enemy. Nomadic desert tribes hidden among the dunes may have ambushed the exhausted Persian soldiers, striking when they were weakest. Familiar with the terrain, these tribes could have quickly overwhelmed the invaders and removed all traces of the battle, scattering the bodies, claiming the weapons, and leaving the desert as empty as before. But even so, could they truly erase all evidence of 50,000 soldiers, thousands of horses and camels? That question remains unanswered. No matter which theory we entertain, the most chilling aspect of this mystery is the absolute silence of the desert. The desert offers no clues, accuses no one, reveals no signs of life or death. Countless expeditions armed with modern technology, satellite imagery, ground-penetrating radar, advanced archaeological methods have searched for traces. All they have found is the desert's eternal emptiness, as if it mocks our efforts to understand. Perhaps the truth is a combination of all these possibilities: the cruelty of nature, the errors of men, the bitterness of betrayal, and the indifference of history itself. Or perhaps it is a mystery that history has deliberately hidden, a reminder that no matter how powerful or intelligent we may become, before the immensity of nature, we remain small, lost, and powerless. The desert is still there, silent and indifferent, as if it cares nothing for the 50,000 lives that once passed through its sands. And history, no matter how hard it tries, may never lift the veil of dust that covers one of humanity's strangest and most tragic disappearances.
Rupkund Lake, a silent lake that whispers the secrets of the past. High in the towering peaks of the Himalayas, where snow blankets jagged summits and silent clouds drift past cliffs of stone, there lies a place holding one of the coldest and most chilling mysteries of humanity. This is Rupkund Lake, more hauntingly known as Skeleton Lake. Situated over 5,000 meters above sea level in the remote Uttarakhand region of India, this small body of water, just 40 meters across, harbors one of the most perplexing stories of death and human history. Rupkund was discovered by chance in 1942, when a British forest ranger patrolling the rugged mountain slopes stumbled upon a scene beyond imagination. Hundreds of bleached human skeletons scattered along the lake's edge and submerged beneath its crystal-clear frozen waters. Their bodies had long decomposed, yet their bones remained intact, preserved beneath the icy surface, as if time itself had forgotten them. At first, officials suspected they were the remains of recent casualties, perhaps Japanese soldiers from World War II. But scientific analysis soon revealed a startling truth. These bones had been lying here for centuries, even millennia. What puzzled scientists was not just the sheer number of skeletons, estimated between 500 and 800 individuals, but their astonishing diversity. Modern genetic analysis revealed that they did not belong to a single group or era. Some had South Asian ancestry, dating back around 1,200 years. Strangely, others carried genetic markers from the Mediterranean, possibly from Greece or the island of Crete, thousands of kilometers away from India. A few individuals even had Southeast Asian origins. How did people from such distant civilizations all end up at this same remote frozen lake, nestled among India's highest peaks? And why did none of them survive the journey? The earliest explanations drew from ancient folklore. Local legends tell of King Jasdaval, who, along with his pregnant queen, musicians, dancers, and guards, embarked on a pilgrimage across the Himalayas to the sacred shrine of the goddess Nanda Devi. But along the way, they angered the goddess, some say by flaunting their wealth, Others say because the pregnant queen dared approach the holy site, and as punishment, the goddess unleashed a deadly hailstorm that struck them down. Strangely, modern forensic analysis seemed to support this legend. Many skulls and shoulders showed round, crushing injuries consistent with being struck by falling objects. These wounds matched the impact of hailstones the size of cricket balls, just as described in the legend. A sudden, merciless hailstorm in a place without shelter could indeed have claimed hundreds of lives within minutes. But deeper questions remained. If this were just a single tragic pilgrimage, why did genetic testing reveal multiple distinct groups of people separated by centuries? And how did individuals from the distant Mediterranean find themselves at this isolated Himalayan lake? Was Rupkund the site of just one disaster, or did it witness multiple tragedies over hundreds of years? Some researchers believe Rupkund was an ancient pilgrimage site, repeatedly drawing spiritual seekers across centuries, despite its perilous journey. Others speculate it was an ancient waypoint on forgotten trade routes, or a destination for exploratory expeditions lost to time. Perhaps these groups were driven by rituals, exploration, or desperation, never realizing the dangers that awaited them. Whether their deaths were caused by hailstorms, freezing temperatures, exhaustion, or treacherous terrain, one haunting question remains. Why this place, and why did people from so many different cultures and centuries meet the same tragic end here? Was it fate, coincidence, or does Rupkund conceal a forgotten chapter of human history never recorded in books? Today, with global temperatures rising, the ice surrounding Rupkund is melting faster than ever, revealing more skeletons each year. But this also exposes the remains to decay and damage, threatening to erase them before scientists can fully uncover their story. Even worse, careless tourists now flock to the site, disturbing the bones and removing them as grim souvenirs, further endangering this fragile historical puzzle. Though modern science has solved parts of the mystery, identifying the origins and ages of many individuals, the most crucial question remains unanswered. What drew them all to this remote frozen lake? And why did this desolate place become a shared graveyard for people from so many times and places? Perhaps Rupkund is not merely a lake, but a silent gateway, connecting forgotten tragedies of the past with our present curiosity. As dawn breaks over the icy peaks, the lake's still surface continues to reflect the cold sky above, guarding its secrets in perfect silence, leaving humanity to wonder and wait.
The mysterious lines in the desert, ancient messages written for the sky. In the arid, sun-scorched deserts of southern Peru, where the land lies barren and silent beneath an unforgiving sky, one of the world's most baffling ancient mysteries stretches across the dusty plains. To the eye at ground level, there is little to see, just endless sand and scattered stones. But from the air, something astonishing emerges. Vast drawings and perfectly straight lines forming images of animals, plants, human figures, and geometric patterns. These are the Nazca lines, one of the greatest enigmas of the ancient world. These are not random scratches on the Earth's surface. The lines stretch across hundreds of square kilometers, with some running for as long as 9 kilometers, creating massive shapes only fully visible from above. What could have motivated the ancient Nazca people, who flourished from around 100 BC to 800 AD, to create such grand works of art they themselves could never have seen in their entirety? The Nazca did not build vast empires or monumental stone temples. Instead, their legacy is one of quiet genius and incredible precision. By removing the dark, oxidized rocks covering the desert surface to expose the lighter earth beneath, they etched designs that have endured for millennia. Thanks to Peru's dry climate, where wind and rain are scarce, the lines remain remarkably preserved. The Nazca designs are diverse and extraordinary. Hummingbirds, spiders, monkeys, fish, whales,
and even human-like figures with strange postures and large, staring eyes. Interwoven with these are straight lines, spirals, trapezoids, drawn with such striking precision that it is difficult to believe a civilization without modern tools created them. But why? What was their purpose? Some scholars, notably Maria Reich, believed the lines were astronomical markers. She argued that several lines align with significant celestial events, such as solstices and equinoxes, helping the Nazca people plan agricultural cycles and religious ceremonies. Yet the elaborate animal figures did not fit neatly into this theory, leaving much unexplained. Other researchers, like Johann Reinhardt, proposed that the lines were ritual pathways, where the Nazca performed religious ceremonies to pray for water and fertile crops. The animals may have symbolized gods or protective spirits believed to control natural forces. Still others suggest an even more mystical purpose, that the lines were messages to the gods, inscribed on the earth for divine beings watching from the sky. After all, the Nazca themselves could not view these immense images from the ground, but perhaps they believed the gods could. Despite these theories, no written records or direct explanations remain. The Nazca lines stand silently across the desert, offering no clear answers, only provoking wonder and speculation. As with all great mysteries, fringe theories abound. Some claim the Nazca lines are evidence of ancient astronauts, visitors from beyond our world. They point to the so-called astronaut figure, a humanoid shape with large round eyes, as proof of extraterrestrial contact. But archaeologists dismiss these claims, suggesting the figure more likely represents a shaman or deity from Nazca mythology. In recent years, advanced technologies such as satellite imagery and drone photography have helped uncover over 140 new geoglyphs, including birds, fish, llamas, and other yet unidentified figures. These discoveries suggest that the Nazca Desert still holds many secrets waiting beneath its dusty surface. But alongside discovery comes danger. Climate change, erosion, expanding roadways, and careless tourism threaten these fragile artworks. Modern development and human activity risk damaging or erasing the very legacy that has endured untouched for centuries. Whatever their purpose, the Nazca lines stand as a testament to human creativity, imagination, and belief. In our modern world, obsessed with practical purpose and scientific explanation, they remind us that not everything humans create is meant for immediate use. Some things are born of faith, dreams, or questions left unanswered, messages perhaps never meant to be fully understood. And who knows, maybe one day, somewhere in the vastness of the sky, someone or something will finally recognize the message written in the sands of Peru.
Historical mysteries, the endless whispers of the past. When we look back through the millennia at stories like the Persian army that vanished without a trace in Egypt's desert, the frozen skeletons of Rupkund Lake, or the enormous silent lines of the Nazca Desert, one truth becomes undeniable. History does not always tell the whole story. Beneath the burning sands, beneath the frozen lakes, and within the silent lines, there are stories that were never written down. We, modern humans, armed with satellites, radar, and scientific reasoning, still stand powerless before ancient questions. What truly happened to the 50,000 Persian soldiers who disappeared as if they never existed? Who journeyed to Rupkund Lake only to die alone among the frozen peaks? And why did the Nazca people create giant drawings visible only from the sky? Perhaps these mysteries are simply the result of nature's harshness and human frailty, but perhaps hidden beneath these enigmas are stories of faith, ambition, fear, and the timeless human desire to communicate with something far greater than ourselves. These were people who lived, loved, feared, and hoped, just as we do today. History, in the end, is not merely a record of what happened. It is also the keeper of what remains unknown. Mysteries do not always wait to be solved. Sometimes they exist simply to remind us that no matter how far humanity advances,
there will always be truths beyond our understanding. And perhaps it is these unanswered questions that make history so captivating, that make the quest for truth an endless journey. They ignite our curiosity, urging us to keep searching, keep questioning, and keep dreaming. Perhaps, in the end, that is the greatest wonder of history, not in what we have already learned, but in what we have yet to discover.